Hello crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel Tales from the Cryptomancer, where we feature content on play to earn games on the blockchain such as Splinterlands. And in today's video we are going to wrap up the Chaos Legion updated tier list for gold level, and we're going to conclude with the Dragon Splinter as well as the neutral cards for Chaos Legion. So I'm excited to get into these tier lists, and let's hop into it. So to start with Dragon, let's start with what I believe to be an A tier list for dragons, and that is the Chaos Dragon. The Chaos Dragon at the gold level is pretty expensive. In fact, it's probably the most expensive card in the game right now. It is 14 mana. It is 3 magic damage, 3 speed, 4 shield, and 10 health. It has flight, scattershot, blast, and blind. And what makes this card unique is the magic damage with the blast and the scattershot combined. It can really cause havoc in the middle of your opponent's lineup, for example. The magic damage in most cases getting past any shields and really gutting kind of some of the weaker units of your opponent potentially with the scatter shot. And if you play it with Quicks the Devious, the blind plus the speed reduction from Quicks can definitely be a nice defensive boost. If you play it with Delwyn, the +1 magic damage, obviously an offensive boost. So this card in very high 99 mana level matches, definitely worth considering, and I believe it to be an A tier card for Chaos Legion Dragons. If you look at the second A tier list card, that is the Void Dragon, and I really do like this card. I think it is underestimated currently. If you look at this card at gold level, it's 5 mana, so it's pretty affordable from a dragon card perspective. It's 1 magic damage, 5 speed, 9 health. It has flight, it has void, and it has phase. And this is a very solid card to use as a tank or an off tank for your team, and especially in an enrage scenario for combat, because that speed is going to really jump up once it takes damage, and you're getting the benefit of flight. For comparison purposes, if we compare it to Genoshanis, who is very, very good in enraged battles, if you can imagine a battle with maybe Void Dragon up front and then Genoshanis behind, you're getting some pretty resilient tanks and off tanks there. So Genoshanis at the gold level has the same speed, 5 speed with void and phase. So you're getting pretty much Genoshanis. You're going to have a little bit less health than Genoshanis and a little bit less magic damage, but you're also 3 mana less. So this can be a really nice 1-2 punch in enrage scenarios, and you can certainly then combine it with some nice other supporting units, maybe like a Wave Brood and the Spirit Hoarder and an Axe Master or other such combinations to really mix it up and make a very strong team. The next dragon card we're going to talk about is a C tier, a meh card, and this is Xyvax Wool. Honestly, this card is kind of a disappointment if you ask me. This card is an 8 mana dragon card at gold level. It's 3 archery damage, 3 speed, and 9 health. It has flight, it has recharge, and it has close range. Again, here it's a recharge unit, it's an archery unit. Combine those two, you get, not a really reliable DPS with the recharge, and now you have to worry about bouncing 9 damage potentially off 1 shield, and that's just unfortunately a waste, and again, not a reliable source of DPS on your team when you're spending 8 mana. So I'm not a fan of this card in the current meta with the current summoners. The next card to talk about is the Desert Dragon. And here, the Desert Dragon I've listed as a D tier or a niche card. In the right circumstances, it's very powerful and can be very useful. Let's take a look at this card. At the gold level, you're getting 5 melee damage, 2 speed, 3 shields, and 7 hearts for 7 mana. You're getting trample, piercing, and retaliate. So this card is certainly strong in melee attacks from any position, opportunity, and probably really the strongest in a super sneak scenario where you can have this at the tail end of your lineup, doing some retaliate damage with piercing and with trample. It's a very good card in that circumstance. The one reason why you probably wouldn't want to use it in general circumstances is just the health and the shields. It's not super durable for the mana cost from a tank perspective. It's not terrible, right? It's probably comparable to a Jin Shuala from a DPS perspective, a little bit different variation. So it's not terrible. It's just probably not the best tank for mid or high mana games, and it's probably best suited for one of those specific melee scenarios to really optimize its DPS output as well as maintain its survivability. So if we were to talk about the Chaos Legion rewards cards for dragons, let's start with the Naga Assassin. The Naga Assassin at gold level is 2 mana, 2 archery damage, 6 speed with 4 health and backfire. And this card is ideally paired with something like a Kitty, which will boost the speed even higher. But it's a really solid card to put at the tail end of your lineup with the 6 speed and the backfire. For 2 mana, you're already getting 2 archery damage, which is respectable for that mana cost. And then you're getting the potential extra offense from backfire at the tail end of your lineup. So in my mind, this is a A-tier card, probably on the lower side of A-tier, but still a reasonable option pretty much anytime you have 2 mana left in your lineup and you are running a Dragon Summoner. The next Chaos Legion reward card to look at is the Twilight Basilisk. The Twilight Basilisk is a 4 mana card, 2 melee damage, 4 speed, 2 shield, 4 health. It has reach, so it's a great off tank, and it has stun, and stun is obviously a very valuable ability. And again, for this reason, for 4 mana, it's got reasonable melee damage, reasonable shields and health. The stun puts it over the top for me, and I list it as an A-tier card for dragons just because of the stun ability in an off tank at a reasonable cost of 4 mana. The last Chaos Legion reward card to discuss is Jin Shuala. And Jin Shuala at 8 mana has 4 melee attack damage, 3 speed, 6 shields, 10 health. It has Thorns and it has Enrage. And this card is fantastic. I love this card. It is an S tier card in my opinion for the Dragon Splinter. Makes a fantastic tank for your front line. Can also be used as a sneak attack defense in the back line with its Thorns. And really what sets it apart from, for example, a Desert Dragon is it has expanded durability with its extra shields and health. The Enrage ramps up its damage and also has passive damage in the form of Thorns. So the combination of the Enrage, the Thorns, and the extra shields and health puts it in the S tier category and puts it definitely above the utility of the Desert Dragon in my opinion. And it's also super cheap right now, so definitely a recommended card. If you don't have a max version of this card in your collection, I would probably recommend getting on that right away. So that's going to wrap us up for the Dragon Splinter for the Chaos Legion tier list. We don't have the Carnage Titan available yet. It's not been released from a stat perspective, so we won't know where that's going to sit. So let's look at the neutrals next and conclude this Chaos Legion card tier list update. So starting with the S tier for neutral cards, we're going to look at the Supply Runner. The Supply Runner for 6 mana has 3 archery damage at a very good 5 speed and a respectable 5 health. Its ability is Swiftness at the gold level, and that ability in a neutral card is very valuable. And you're getting good archery damage, getting good speed, moderate health, and the Swiftness. All in all, a very good card. They can pretty much find a potential reason to include in just about any team in the game. The next S tier card for neutral is the Scavo Hireling. And if we look at the Scavo Hireling at the gold level, it's really a great card. For 3 mana, you're getting Repair and you're getting Camouflage. So you have great durability with this card. It can really stay out of trouble and provide repair to your team at a very low cost, and pretty much stay in the battle for most of the battle with that camouflage ability. So again, the combination of neutral, Splinter, low mana, camouflage with that repair utility makes this card pretty much a must-have for any gold collection. As far as the next S tier card for the neutral Splinter, we're going to talk about the legendary Airdrop Dr. Blight. And wow, this card, you could potentially consider this card one of the best in the game, honestly. At the Gold League level, for 4 mana, you're getting 2 magic damage, 1 speed, 4 health. On stats, just on the paper, kind of looking at it, doesn't seem that great. But then you look at the abilities this card brings to the table at 4 mana. It's got Affliction, it's got Camouflage, it's got Poison, and it's got Scavenge. So for the offensive perspective, Poison is huge. Applying that frequently is going to definitely increase your passive DPS for your team. Affliction is a great utility ability that's going to shut down tank heals and self heals on your opponent's team. You're going to get the survivability with Camouflage, and then the Scavenge at the gold level is really what puts this card over the top as far as utility, because it's not going to be able to really be taken out very easily because it has the Camouflage ability. So it's probably going to be the last card standing most times. And by the end of the battle, this card will usually have double-digit health because of the Scavenge ability. And having a card at the front of your lineup towards the end of the battle that's doing 2 magic damage, potentially with Poison, with having, let's say, 10 or more health, it becomes a real monster of a card to take down at the end of the battle. And this is why Dr. Blight is so valuable. It can win games just by itself because of the Scavenge ability at the end, just having too much health to get through with your opponent's last 1 or 2 cards, making Dr. Blight really an MVP. And really, I mean, again, you could honestly put this in the running potentially for discussion for one of the best cards in the game. The next card to discuss is at the A tier level is Legionaire Alvar, and this card is a legendary card. At the gold level, you're getting a 9 mana tank with 3 melee damage, 2 speed. It has 9 shields and 6 health, and it has Void Armor, it has a Giant Killer, and it has Demoralize. And for me personally, I like this card better than Jin Murat. It's a neutral version. I think probably maybe a better version of that card. Just my opinion, of course. When you have the Void Armor here, you have to get through that armor no matter what attack you're bringing to bear. If you combine this, for example, with something like the Scavo Hireling with the Repair and the Camouflage, really makes this card extremely durable, because again, you have to get through that armor. Giant Killer really ramps up the damage against other big monsters, doing 6 damage, and then you get also the benefit of the debuff of Demoralize on your opponent's entire team. And I think this card is worthy of an A tier category. The next card I want to talk about is the Chaos Agent. The Chaos Agent, I believe, is an A tier list, and let's take a look at that. For 1 mana, the Chaos Agent at the gold tier level has 4 speed with dodge, with 3 health and phase. Now, this card, in my opinion, really excels once it gets phase. And at the max level gold is when it really starts to become valuable. Now, I don't think it's maybe necessarily as valuable in silver and certainly not in bronze. But once you get to gold, this card is worth an A tier listing. And the reason for that is for 1 mana, you're getting 4 speed and dodge with 3 health, which is just an annoyance for people to get through. In low mana battles, it's good for an off tank. You could technically put it as a front tank just to be an annoyance. And it has flexibility because you have got the phase, which allows it to potentially dodge magic attacks, making it much more versatile. You can certainly also stick it at the back end of your lineup for 1 mana, getting utility and a function by having a ability to potentially dodge sneak attacks. And the next card to talk about at the A tier level is the Zenith Monk. The Zenith Monk is really a good solid card here. And if we take a look at it, it at the gold level is 4 mana. It's got 2 melee damage, 4 speed with 7 health. It's got self-heal and it has void. So making it for 4 mana a really, really good value tank, especially at the neutral level where you can use it across all of your splinters. In any low mana or mid mana or even a Noxious Fumes battle or maybe an Earthquake battle, it really is a solid card to consider using in all of those scenarios. And because of that, I've listed it as an A tier. The void at the gold level makes it even more survivable as well. And this is a solid card. For the C tier, the meh tier, I've got the Zenith Archer here. I'm personally not a fan of this card. You can see I don't even own one. At the gold tier level, it's 2 mana, it's 2 archery damage, 3 speed, 4 health. I mean, it's just there. It's fine. 2 mana, 2 archery damage is fine for something like a back to basics scenario. It's just, nothing special in my opinion. In many cases for splinters, you can probably find, a better use for 2 mana in many cases, but it's not terrible. It's there. It's 2 archery damage at 2 mana, and there you go. That's the Zenith Archer. The next card is the Gem Meteor. The Gem Meteor is probably going to see increased value for Waka Spirit Blade owners, but that's probably a minority of folks in the Splinterlands ecosystem. The Gem Meteor here at max level for gold is 5 mana, 3 archery damage, 5 speed, 5 health. It's got scatter shot and it's got piercing. It gets piercing at the max level gold, which kind of negates its main challenge, and that being, archery damage with scatter shot. You just don't know what you're going to hit, and it might quite likely have a shield. So here, at least at the max level gold, you get the piercing, which allows it to do damage past a shield, essentially giving it more like a magic damage feel. And at max level, 5 mana, 3 archery / magic damage effectiveness is not bad. Just the scatter shot again is kind of unpredictable, and in most cases you probably want something more predictable unless you're running something like a Waka Spirit Blade, and that's why I've listed the Gem Meteor for most people as a C tier card. The next category is the D tier or the niche category, and here we're going to start with the Disintegrator. The Disintegrator for me, I mostly use this card pretty much at its base level, in scenarios that have melee characters only. And the reason for that is you're going to basically provide demoralize to your opponent's entire team. And when you combine like melee attack only with something like an opportunity, super sneak, or melee attacks from any position, then this card becomes a must play because you're getting demoralized and you're able to attack with the card at that point. So it's kind of a double benefit. So anytime you have a melee attack only with one of those three scenario types, the Disintegrator is pretty much on call for that scenario. Now at 7 mana at max gold level, you're getting 3 melee damage, 2 speed, 3 shield, 7 hearts. You're getting trample. You're probably not going to be able to use trample that often. And you're also getting knockout. Again, situational, but good, for example, if you have stunners in your team. The next niche card I want to talk about is the Venari Spellsmith. And the Venari Spellsmith, the reason why I say it's a niche card is because it's probably the cheapest and easiest way to get Amplify into Splinters, because he gets Amplify at the rare level 4, which allows it to be used with silver summoners. But at the max level gold for this card, you're getting, for 4 mana, 2 magic damage, 3 speed, 3 hearts. You're getting Amplify, which is the main ability here, and you're getting Dispel. This card can be used as kind of a cheap way to get Amplify into battles, such as when you might use Ouster or Leer for the return fire, or the Magic Reflect. For Earth with Mylor with the Thorns, you'll probably want to use something like Queen Mycelia, but you can definitely use a Venari Spellsmith, to maximize other Amplify based summoners, and that's what I generally use this card for. And the last card to talk about in the niche category is the Magi of Chaos. The Magi of Chaos at the gold level is going to provide 3 magic damage, 2 speed, 7 hearts at 6 mana, and it's going to provide Oppress. And this card can be very, very strong if you're bringing a magic heavy attack with your team, especially with a summoner like Obsidian or Delwyn or Ulrich. 6 mana for 4 magic damage with 7 health is definitely very respectable, and then you're getting Oppress on top of that, which can just obliterate opponents like the Cube and others. So this card, pretty much you want to use it, I feel, when you have a magic buff summoner to really maximize the synergies. You can use it as a neutral card without a magic buff summoner, but it's probably not going to be as valuable a part of your lineup in that scenario. And the next card to talk about is a legendary airdrop for neutral, the Spirit Hoarder. The Spirit Hoarder at 3 mana does 1 magic damage with 1 speed and 3 health. And again, the stats aren't fantastic by themselves, but it's the support abilities that make this card strong. I do rate this card in my mind as a low S tier card. And the reason for that primarily is because for 3 mana, it brings Triage as a neutral card to all Splinters potentially. And Triage is a very powerful ability to use on your team, and because it's neutral and low mana cost, that flexibility is quite valuable, because many Splinters don't necessarily have an easy to obtain Triage ability, especially at a low mana cost and also at a reasonable dollar cost. At $12 a card currently for the Spirit Hoarder. It's not certainly an unreasonable expense for a legendary neutral card with triage, and that's primarily the reason why I rate this as an S tier card. It also has the ability of blind and dispel. Blind certainly useful as a nice debuff against your opponent's team, and dispel can be beneficial as well. So if we conclude with the 3 Chaos Legion reward cards for neutral, the first is the Gargoyle Lion. The Gargoyle Lion at 6 mana has 3 melee attack damage, 3 speed, 3 shields, 6 health. It has flight and it has void. I rate this as a C tier or meh card because usually for 6 mana you can find something better to use for a tank or an off tank. Really, the times when you would consider using this at the gold tier level is maybe in an earthquake battle or a mid or low mana battle where you need a tank for cheap. And again, you usually can find a better tank in most cases. The next card to discuss is the Gargoya Devil. The Gargoya Devil, in my opinion, is also a C tier meh card for me. At 7 mana, it gets 3 archery damage, 3 speed, 2 shield, 4 health. It does have flight, it does have close range, and it also has death blow. You know, the best maybe case scenario for this card is an equalizer battle, but for 7 mana, you know, an equalizer, you're likely to find something better to use in your Splinter than this card. It's not, you know, a card that I use personally very often, and it's just because it's, you know, high mana cost. It doesn't have great durability, and it's archery damage. You can certainly find a way to use it, you know, under General Sloan, for example, but not a necessarily a common use card. And the last card for us to discuss when it comes to the Chaos Legion card tier updated list for Gold League level, it's Eureus. Eureus is a really strong neutral card. I love this card. I use it all the time. I rate it as an S tier. It's a 3 mana sneak monster with poison. What else do you need to say? It's got 2 melee damage. It's got good speed with 4 speed. It's got 1 shield for durability, and it's got 4 health. In a pinch, you can leave it at the tail end of your lineup, and that 1 shield and 4 health will usually take at least two blows to take this card out. It's got sneak, it's got poison, it's 3 mana. This is a great card. I think it can usually find a case to put it in pretty much any potential team, especially on a sneak team. This is a must-have unit, and I like this card a lot. So there you have it. We have completed our updated Chaos Legion card tier list. What do you think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you have enjoyed this series. I hope it has been beneficial and provided some food for thought as you look at the Chaos Legion reward cards and you look at your decks and you plan out how you are approaching your deck composition. If this video has been beneficial, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more timely updates around Splinterlands, and until next time, keep stacking those stats.